revealed how an amazing new nanny transformed the sleepless lives of two millionaire twins. Clara stepped into the opulent mansion, a world away from her small hometown. The sparkling chandeliers, glossy marble floors, and walls adorned with abstract art took her breath away, but it was an empty kind of beauty. She could feel the silence echoing through the hallways, a stark contrast to the warmth of laughter and love she longed to share. This was where Ethan and Noah lived, 10-year-old twins lost in a life of luxury, but starving for connection. How could they be surrounded by so much and still feel so little? As she walked into the twins' room, she caught sight of them, heads bent over video games, their laughter sounding more like a hollow echo than pure joy. Clara's heart ached. She wanted to draw them out, pull them into the light. "Hey guys, how about a game night? We can pop some popcorn and watch your favorite movies," she suggested, her voice cheerful and inviting. Their response? An unimpressed shrug and a flick of their eyes back to the screen. Clara's spirit dipped, but she held on. She remembered her own childhood, where the smell of fresh-baked cookies and the sounds of family gatherings filled the air, where love wasn't just an idea, it was a heartbeat. Ethan and Noah lived in a mansion that pulsed with wealth, but offered nothing to nurture their souls. After several fruitless attempts to bridge the silence, Clara decided to stick it out. One evening, as she reluctantly attended a neighborhood party thrown by the twins' parents, the whispers cut through her like a razor. "Who does she think she is?" they gossiped. "Just a girl from a small town." Ouch! The pain of their judgment hung heavy in the air. Clara's heart felt tight, constricted by their cutting words. But in that painful moment, she looked over and caught Ethan and Noah peering at her with concerned faces, brows furrowed and expressions soft. They had sensed her discomfort. They were worried. A flicker of understanding sparked in Clara's chest. She couldn't walk away now. Feeling that fire of connection, she gathered the twins later that week. "You know," Clara started, leaning in as they focused on her, "I've struggled too. I know what it feels like to feel invisible." The twins exchanged glances, intrigued. "There was a time when my family had nothing, but we still found joy in every moment together. That's what matters most." Ethan asked, "Do you really think that?" And Noah chimed in, "Is it really that simple?" This moment cracked open something between them, a thread woven just enough to start building trust. Laughter and shared secrets began to trickle into their days. But as the bond started to strengthen, an urgent announcement echoed in the wealthy world waiting outside. Their parents were considering a relocation for a big job opportunity. Clara's heart sank. Would it be enough to disintegrate the tiny flicker they had built? Would she be just another fleeting presence in their lives? The uncertainty hung heavy, a storm cloud ready to burst. Would they fight for what they'd found together, or would they let it slip away like sand through their fingers? Clara felt the weight of her own longing as she held her breath, the fragile new connection hanging in balance. Perhaps love and resilience could break the barriers of wealth, but would it be enough to keep them together against the tide of change? Days turned into weeks, and the tension in the mansion grew thicker as the news of the potential move lingered in the air. Clara watched Ethan and Noah closely, the worry etched across their young faces. The laughter they had begun to share faded, replaced by whispered conversations, muted video games, and an underlying anxiety that simmered just beneath the surface. One afternoon, as Clara brewed her special hot chocolate in the kitchen, she heard a soft knock on the door. It was Noah, his blue eyes wide and contemplative. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Clara gestured for him to sit at the small kitchen table. The warmth of the cocoa filled the room, but the atmosphere between them felt frigid. Noah hesitated, fiddling with a spilled sugar packet. "Ethan's really upset about moving," he finally admitted, his voice fragile. "I think he feels like it's our fault, that we're leaving you behind." Clara's heart twisted at the mention of her name. She had become more than just a nanny in their lives. "What do you think, Noah?" she asked gently, hoping to encourage him to express himself more freely. "How do you feel about it?" "I don't want to leave," he answered, his small face resolute. "But Mom and Dad say it's a great opportunity. They don't understand." His voice trailed off, and his chin quivered. In that moment, Clara saw the weight of everything they had built together resting on the shoulders of this little boy. Clara reached across the table, placing her hand over Noah's. "I understand," she said softly. You are allowed to feel upset about this. It's a big change. But I want you to know that no matter what happens, you and Ethan will always have a place in my heart." Just then, Ethan burst into the kitchen, his face flushed with emotion. "Noah, are you crying?" He looked over at Clara, his expression a mix of disbelief and anger. "What are you doing to him?" "Ethan, we're just talking about how you feel about the move," Clara tried to explain, but she could see the storm brewing in his eyes. "I'm here for both of you. Why would you care?" Ethan shot back, his hands balled into fists. "You'll leave too, like everyone else. This is just a job for you, isn't it? You'll go away, and we'll be stuck here." The pain in his voice cut deep, but it was the truth he had shielded so fiercely. Clara stood firm, determination settling into her bones. "I'll always care about you. We might not be in this mansion together forever, but what we have doesn't just disappear with distance. You're not alone in this." The twins exchanged perplexed looks, the crack in their defenses widening as emotions spilled over. Her words cut through the silence, bringing forth the flood of anxiety they had both tried so hard to conceal. Ethan's chin quivered, and then, unexpectedly, he broke down. "What if we don't have fun anymore? What if we forget?" he cried, his voice trembling as tears streamed down his cheeks. Clara quickly moved closer, enveloping both boys in her arms. "You won't forget," she promised, her voice firm yet soothing. "When you're happy, when you're sad, everything we've shared will connect you, no matter where you are." In that embrace filled with warmth, heartache, and the flicker of hope, a new bond formed. It wasn't just about games or laughter anymore. It was about the shared understanding of love and loss, a recognition of their need for each other. As they parted, Clara could see the shadows of uncertainty begin to lift. But the reality loomed ahead. The final decision about the move was fast approaching, and everything they had built teetered on the edge of change. Would they cling to the bond they had forged, or would fear and distance drive them apart? Clara's heart raced as she imagined the possibilities. What if, amidst the chaos, she could help them believe that love was stronger than any distance? The question weighed heavily on her mind as she gathered herself for what lay ahead. Could she be the anchor that keeps them grounded when everything else felt like a storm? The next morning, Clara woke to the sun filtering through the sheer curtains, casting soft patterns on the floor. She could hear the quiet of the mansion enveloping her. The silence felt heavy, almost deafening, as she brewed another round of her special hot chocolate, recalling the emotional whirlwind from the day before. She felt a sense of responsibility now, a duty to guide these children through the storm that threatened their world. As she moved about the kitchen, her mind raced with thoughts. What if they did forget? What if the memories they had crafted together faded into shadows? She told herself she had to keep that from happening. After breakfast, Clara found Ethan and Noah sitting on the steps leading down to the garden, their heads bent, deep in conversation. Clara approached slowly, careful not to intrude on their moment. The boys looked up as she reached them, the remnants of yesterday's tears still visible in their eyes. But there was something new in their expressions, a glimmer of determination. "Hey," Clara said softly, taking a seat on the step beside them. "What are you two talking about?" Noah glanced at Ethan before answering. "We're trying to think of things we can do together before you know." His voice stumbled over the words as they hung in the air like a heavy fog. Before the move, Clara finished for him, her heart swelling with pride at Noah's brave admission. "What if we made a list? A bucket list of sorts. Things we want to do together while we're still here." Ethan's brows knitted together. "Do you really want to spend more time with us?" His voice was guarded, as if testing the waters of trust. "Of course," Clara replied, smiling warmly. "You both are so important to me, and I want to create some really special memories before you go." The sincerity in her voice hung between them, dissolving the last vestiges of doubt. That Noah's expression brightened. "Like going to the amusement park? Or having a campout in the backyard?" he suggested, his enthusiasm bubbling up. Ethan nodded, the excitement stirring within him once again. "And maybe we could make those giant paper lanterns. We could launch them together." "Yes," Clara responded, a sparkle of excitement igniting in her chest. "We could write wishes on them. Beautiful wishes for your new adventure. It'll be a great way to hope for the future." The boys began to chatter animatedly, ideas flowing freely. Clara watched, heart swelling as she saw their faces light up. Their fears were momentarily forgotten, replaced by the thrill of possibilities. That afternoon, they got to work on their bucket list. They decided to create a collage on a poster board, cutting out pictures and words from magazines that represented their dreams and adventures. Their imaginations ran wild. Laughter echoed throughout the mansion, wrapping Clara in the warmth that had been absent for so long. The day passed quickly, colored by creativity and impulsive joy. As evening approached, they sat back to admire their work, a vibrant tapestry of hopes and dreams glistening under the afternoon sun. But in that moment of triumph, a shadow flickered across Clara's heart. The decision about the move was looming closer. How could she ensure this bond remained intact? Did she have the strength and the wisdom to help them face what came next? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world into twilight, Clara felt the swell of emotions rise again. She gathered the boys close, wrapping them in her arms once more. She whispered, "Remember, no matter where you go, we'll always have our memories. They can never be taken from you. You carry me in your hearts, just like I carry you in mine." But as she spoke, a small part of her couldn't shake the worry gnawing at the edges of her mind. Would her promises be enough to shield them from the uncertainty? And in that moment, the question hung in the air, as heavy as an unlaunched paper lantern. Would they find the strength to embrace the unknown that lay ahead, or would the weight of fear drag them down? The next morning greeted them with an unexpected chill as Clara awoke to the sound of the wind rustling through the trees outside. It made her shiver, but the prospect of the day ahead filled her with warmth. Today would be special. The boys had stopped their quiet conversations. Now, they were ready to embrace their bucket list completely, and Clara felt a thrill of anticipation bubbling in her chest. After breakfast, she donned her favorite cozy sweater, a familiar comfort amidst the uncertainty. As she stepped outside to meet Ethan and Noah, she could see the overcast sky reflected in their faces, but Clara knew they could create their own sunshine. "All right, team," Clara called, clapping her hands together. "What's first on our list of adventures?" Noah took a deep breath, clutching the paper filled with their dreams. "Can we start with the campout? I want to set up the tent in the backyard and roast marshmallows." Ethan's eyes sparkled. "And tell ghost stories. We have to tell the scariest ones ever." Clara grinned. "Sounds like a perfect plan. Let us do it." The boys jumped up, their energy infectious, and the trio bounded into action. They gathered supplies from the mansion, sleeping bags, flashlights, and a basket filled with Esmore's ingredients. Clara chuckled at their eagerness. Her heart felt lighter with every step they took together. The backyard glowed with patches of green, highlighted by splashes of colorful flowers. As they set up the tent, Clara watched the boys work. There was something magical about their teamwork. They transformed the mundane into an enchanting fortress of possibilities. Eventually, they crawled inside the tent, laughing and poking at each other. Clara joined, feeling the warmth of their camaraderie wrap around her like her favorite blanket. Once the camp was set, they took a moment to savor the simple joy of togetherness. Clara handed each boy a marshmallow. "Before we roast these, let us each share a wish for the future," she suggested, hoping it would empower them to voice their hopes. Ethan spoke up first. "I wish to be brave, even if I'm scared." His voice wavered, but the sincerity shone through. Noah chimed in, "I wish for us to always remember this summer, even when we move." The sincerity of their words made Clara's heart swell. They were grasping what mattered most. "I wish for adventure," Clara added, her smile bright with encouragement. "For us to explore everything life has to offer, no matter where we are." As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, the boys began to roast their marshmallows. Clara felt a warmth spreading in her chest, flooding her with joy. This was more than just a goodbye. It was a celebration of everything they had shared together. The laughter echoed into the evening. A sweet melody wrapped around their spirits. Clara began telling a ghost story, her voice dropping to a dramatic whisper. Suddenly, the laughter took a sudden turn. The boys jumped at her spooky sound effects, sending ripples of giggles swirling through the tent. But as the shadows grew longer, an unspoken tension lingered. Clara caught sight of the setting sun, realizing how quickly this time was slipping away. She wrestled with her own fears, wondering how she would handle the emotional farewell that lay ahead. The moment hung, heavy with unasked questions and growing uncertainty. Could they hold on to these moments? Or would they slip through their fingers as the summer faded away? As she looked into their eyes, Clara realized it was not just their memories at stake. It was her heart, too. What would happen when they had to confront the inevitable? Eager anticipation blended with the shadow of an approaching goodbye, and Clara wondered if they were truly ready for what awaited them. Would the strength of their bond prove resilient against the winds of change? The sound of crackling marshmallows and soft laughter lingered in the air as Clara finished her ghost story. The sun's last rays shimmered on the horizon, painting the world in twilight hues. She could feel the heaviness of the moment settling over them, an awareness that this summer was fading, just like the day. "What's next on the list?" Noah asked, his face aglow from the fire. The question hung in the air, but Clara felt her heart quicken. They had planned so much, yet now the urgency felt palpable. "Maybe stargazing?" Clara suggested hesitantly. "I mean, it's a classic." Ethan jumped up, his eyes wide with excitement. "Yes, I love that. But can we turn off the lanterns for a bit? We need to see the stars." Clara nodded, feeling her own excitement pulse through her. They scrambled out of the tent, their laughter lifting into the cool night air. The fire's glow gave way to darkness as they extinguished the lanterns, leaving only the gentle flicker from the campfire as they settled down on the blankets. Clara lay back and gazed into the vast night sky. Stars twinkled above, scattered like diamonds on velvety fabric. "Look at that one," she exclaimed, pointing at a particularly bright star. Ethan tried to trace its path with his finger. "That has to be my wish star," he declared. "If I stare hard enough, maybe it'll come true." Noah chuckled, uncertain but joining the game. "You think my wish about always remembering this summer can reach that star too?" Clara felt a lump form in her throat. "I think if you believe hard enough, anything is possible." As the boys reveled in their thoughts, Clara's gaze drifted away from the stars to their smiling faces. They were so young, so full of hope and innocence. Yet deep down, she could feel the weight of her own uncertainty creeping closer. The realization that these moments might soon slip away stung more each passing second. "Hey, do you guys ever think about what it'll be like to grow up?" Clara asked, trying to carry the conversation forward. "No way," Noah replied, shaking his head vigorously. "I want to stay a kid forever." Ethan frowned, glancing up at the sky. "But we can't, can we? Grown-ups have to go to work and pay bills." Clara smiled softly. She could tell Ethan was carrying the burden of future responsibility already. "That's true, but it's also about making memories, just like the ones we're making now. Those will last forever, no matter how old we get. But will we still be friends?" Noah's voice was small, vulnerability shining through the bravado of the campfire games. Clara inhaled deeply, searching for the right words. "I really hope so. Friends can sometimes change, but bonds like ours, they can survive anything." Ethan's face turned serious. "What if we grow apart? I promise I'll do my best to keep our memories alive," Clara said, her voice steady. "Like, every summer we'll find a way to reunite, no matter where we are." They fell into a contemplative silence, gazing up at the stars twinkling in the vastness. Their dreams and fears hung between them, a bittersweet reminder of the time they spent together and the uncertainties that lay ahead. "Let us make a pact," Ethan proposed suddenly. "When we're older, let us all meet at this same spot at least once a year." Clara's heart soared at the suggestion. "Absolutely." Noah grinned wide. "Deal. We'll be like the adventure club that never breaks up." "Adventure club forever," Clara echoed, feeling the warmth and the courage swell in her chest. The fire crackled softly nearby. They raised their voices to the sky, feeling a renewed sense of hope against the impending tide of change. How could something feel so joyfully vibrant, yet tinged with the sadness of departure? The weight of it all fell heavier on Clara as she looked at the bright horizon ahead. "Okay, what's next?" Noah asked again, his eagerness unchanged. Clara smiled through her emotions. "How about one more story about what we want to be when we grow up?" And beneath the stars, she prepared to dive into dreams, not knowing if the tales they spun would lead to newfound fears or light the path for glorious adventures yet to come. Could this be a promise that would see them through? Would they truly become what they envisioned, or would life lead them down different paths? Clara took a deep breath, wanting her words to carry them into a world of dreams. "All right, I'll go first. When I grow up, I want to be a writer. I want to tell stories that make people feel things. Just like I feel right now, lying under this amazing sky. Ethan sat up, his brow furrowing in thought. A writer? That is awesome. But what stories will you tell? Clara could see the sparkle in his eyes. I want to write about adventure, magic, and friendship, she replied, her voice gaining strength. And maybe a bit about growing up too, you know? Because it can be scary but also exciting. Noah leaned back, his fingers brushing against the cool grass. I want to be a superhero, like the ones in the comics. I'd save people, fight the bad guys, and make the world a better place. He struck a pose, imitating a heroic stance which made Clara and Ethan burst into laughter. Superman has nothing on you, Noah. Clara joked. Right? And I'd wear a cape. Noah added, beaming with confidence. Ethan joined in, a thoughtful look on his face. Well, I don't know if I want to be a superhero, but I want to be someone who invents cool gadgets. Like a scientist or something. You know, build robots that help people and explore space. His enthusiasm was infectious, and Clara felt a sense of pride for her friends. That's amazing, Ethan, Clara exclaimed. I can just picture us as adults. You'll be zooming around in a spaceship, Noah will be saving the day, and I'll be writing about all your adventures. As they traded dreams, Clara felt the warmth of their connection wrap around her like a blanket. Yet, a part of her couldn't shake the feeling that childhood was slipping through her fingers, as delicate as the fireflies dancing just beyond the reach of their campfire. What if we never get to be those things? Noah's voice quivered slightly. What if growing up is harder than we think? The fun atmosphere darkened for a moment. Clara felt the weight of his words. It might be hard, she admitted, but even if we face challenges, we'll face them together, right? We have each other's backs. Ethan nodded, a flicker of hope igniting in his chest. Yeah, and we can create our own paths. Just like we're doing now, with our stories. Exactly, Clara said, finding strength in her friends. We can be whoever we want to be. It's just a matter of believing in ourselves and supporting each other. After a moment of silence, Noah broke in again. If I ever need a sidekick for my superhero work, I'm picking you too. Only if you promise to wear the cape. Clara giggled, and soon they all laughed, the shadows of doubt fading like the night around them. As the stars twinkled above, Clara felt a surge of hope. This summer might be ending, but the adventure club was just beginning. They could hold the darkness at bay, for as long as they stayed united, their dreams would continue to shine. And then, just as Clara felt the weight of contentment, a haunting thought crossed her mind. What if meeting each year wasn't enough to keep them connected? What if life takes us so far apart we can't make it back here? She whispered. The three friends turned quiet again, each contemplating the silent challenge that loomed ahead. Let us promise more than just once a year. Let us promise to always find a way, no matter what. Ethan said suddenly, determination filling his voice. Yeah, Noah echoed, raising his fist in agreement. Together through everything, Clara added softly, feeling a deep sense of commitment bond them. But as the last flicker of the fire dimmed, uncertainty bubbled just beneath the surface. Would their promises withstand the trials of time? With the night wrapping around them like a cloak, Clara couldn't shake the feeling that the real adventure had only just begun, but would their resolve hold through the test of adulthood? The questions lingered in the air, deeper than the dark sky surrounding them. A soft rustle stirred Clara from her thoughts. The gentle hum of crickets filled the evening air, their serenade both soothing and evocative of the fading summer. She dug her fingers into the grass, the coolness grounding her as the weight of their promises settled among the three friends. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, but sometimes it also makes it harder, Clara said, her voice barely above a whisper. She felt a bittersweet ache as she thought of all the moments that might slip away with time. Noah, still playing the superhero in his mind, waved his hands. We won't let distance win. We'll send messages, do video calls, send each other our stories. Superheroes always find a way. Ethan grinned, clearly inspired. Yeah, and we can make a time capsule. We can fill it with our drawings, dreams, and a letter to our future selves. Then we can open it together when we're older. The idea ignited a spark in Clara's heart. That's brilliant. We'll remind ourselves of today, no matter how far apart we get. The flickering light from the dying campfire sent shadows dancing across their faces, mirroring the excitement she felt inside. Okay, Noah bounced eagerly. I'll write about my adventures saving the world, and you guys can write what you want to be when you grow up. I'll write my first story, Clara suggested, her mind already racing with inspiration. It'll be about a superhero with a magic pen who brings stories to life. Awesome. I want to be in that story, and I'll save the city from a giant robot. Noah declared, his face lighting up at the thought. And I'll build that robot. Ethan chimed in, determination sparkling in his eyes again. The three of them began to share wild ideas, feeding off each other's creativity. They spun tales of adventure, friendship, and the courage to face fears. Clara felt the heaviness of doubt shift and lighten, replaced by the pure joy of imagination. But just as quickly, a shadow crept back in. What if we pull away? Clara's voice trembled slightly. What if we lose this? Ethan scooted closer, his eyes serious now. Clara, we want tea. We can't. This friendship is special. We've shared our dreams. We've opened ourselves up. That makes us stronger together. She felt a swell of gratitude for him. You're right. It's just that sometimes, during the school year, everything feels so busy. I worry, don't worry, Noah reassured, his small hand reaching for hers. You've got super friends. We'll always look out for each other. The warmth of his touch filled her with renewed hope. Okay, then let us make a plan. No matter what, let us meet every season. Even if it's just for a day, we'll come back together. Let us be an adventure club for life. Adventure club for life. Ethan shouted, pumping his fist into the air. Clara and Noah joined in with cheers, their spirits rising with each declaration of unity. But as the fire's last embers faded, Clara's heart tightened again, whispering doubts returning. Would life truly allow them to keep their promises, or would time drift them apart like leaves carried away by the wind? She glanced up at the stars, gleaming brightly against the vast dark, holding her breath as a single wish emerged. Would they find the strength to endure through all the changes ahead? Unbeknownst to them, a stranger was quietly observing from the perimeter of the clearing, a figure cloaked in shadows. What would come next for the Adventure Club? They had yet to learn, but the whispers on the wind seemed to carry a message that change was already starting to brew. The next day, Clara woke to the smell of pancakes wafting through the air, pulling her from the remnants of a dream where she was flying over a city saved by her magic pen. Rubbing the sleep from her eyes, she felt a sudden rush of warmth thinking about the promises they had made Adventure Club for life. Sliding out of bed, she quickly got dressed, her heart singing at the thought of seeing Noah and Ethan again. They were meeting at the park later that afternoon. As she put on her favorite blue sneakers, she couldn't shake the feeling of excitement mixing uneasily with the shadows of her worries. The park, Clara could see them before she even reached the entrance. Noah was on the swings, kicking his legs high, while Ethan sat nearby with a large sketchbook, lost in another world of his imagination. The sight filled her with a sweetness that felt like sunshine breaking through clouds. Hey, super friends, she called, waving as she approached. Noah jumped off the swing and landed with a thump, his cheeks flushed with enthusiasm. Clara, I was just thinking about our time capsule. We should start planning what to put in it. Yes, and I have some new story ideas, Clara replied, feeling the weight of doubt lift further with each step closer. Ethan looked up from his sketches, nodding. I brought markers and paper. We can start capturing our dreams today. They settled in the grass, a blanket stretched beneath them, and as the sun beamed down, Clara felt like anything was possible. They talked and laughed, their voices echoing against the backdrop of the park, where other children played and their giggles danced in the air. But soon, as Clara began to sketch out her superhero story, she caught something out of the corner of her eye, a shadow darting behind a tree. She brushed it off, attributing it to the bustling life of the park. But the flicker bothered her, gnawing at the back of her mind. Hey, guys, she said hesitantly. Do you ever get the feeling like something's watching you? Noah stopped drawing, squinting towards the tree line. What do you mean? Like when you can just feel someone or something there? Clara replied, pulse quickening as she recalled the figure from the night before. Ethan shrugged. Maybe it's just a squirrel or something. This park is full of them. Noah laughed, trying to shake off the seriousness. Yeah, you just need to focus on your superhero story. But Clara couldn't shake the unsettling feeling. As they settled back into their creative flow, she glanced toward the trees again. There was a glimpse of fabric fluttering in the wind just out of sight. Maybe we should investigate, Clara suggested, sharing a look with her friends that bordered between adventurous and uncertain. Let us do it, Noah exclaimed, jumping to his feet. Ethan hesitated, glancing toward the shadowy area. Are you sure? It might just be a person walking their dog, or it could be something exciting. Clara urged, her heart racing. The thrill of possibility began to outweigh her earlier fears. With a nod of agreement, the three friends slowly made their way toward the mysterious shadow, each step igniting a mix of excitement and trepidation. What were they about to uncover? Would it shape the adventure club in ways they couldn't even imagine, or would it spell trouble? As they reached the edge of the trees, Clara's heart hammered in her chest. The instant before they pushed through the branches, she looked at her friends and whispered, "What if this changes everything?" And with that, they stepped into the unknown, unaware of the secrets lying just beyond the reach of their wildest imaginations. The moment Clara pushed through the branches, the light shifted. The sounds of the park faded, replaced by an unsettling stillness. Gone were the carefree laughter and cheerful chatter. Instead, an eerie quiet enveloped them, causing a shiver to run up Clara's spine. A narrow path appeared before them, winding deeper into the trees. Clara hesitated, glancing back at her friends. Noah was all eyes, excitement fizzing off him, while Ethan's brow furrowed, clearly still uncertain. But Clara, despite the rush of anxiety, felt the pull of adventure urging her forward. "Come on," she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "Let us see what's down this way." The trio ventured deeper, the foliage closing in as the path twisted. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting ribbons of gold and shadow on the ground. It was beautiful but unnerving, every creak of a branch echoing louder than before. "Maybe we should just stayed at the blanket," Ethan murmured, glancing back, eyes darting from shadow to shadow. "You're not scared, are you?" Noah teased, his bravado lighting the atmosphere. But Clara saw uncertainty flicker behind his playful grin. She felt it too. The shadows seemed alive, as if they were withholding a secret. They pressed on, with Clara leading the way, her heart thrumming in rhythm with the growing anticipation. The trees parted suddenly, revealing a small clearing. In the center stood an old, weathered trunk. It was adorned with cryptic carvings and hints of glimmering paint that had long faded. An odd sensation washed over Clara, like the trunk was calling to her. "What do you think is inside?" Noah asked, stepping forward. "I don't know, but it looks important," Clara replied, stepping closer, drawn to its alluring mystery. She reached out hesitantly, fingers brushing against the rough wood. "Wait," Ethan said suddenly, voice tense. "Did you hear that?" Clara froze, straining her ears. In the distance, a low sound resonated. It was almost melodic, like a song carried by the wind. "It's coming from the trunk," Clara exclaimed, excitement bubbling up, chasing away the fear. She had never felt this way before, an intoxicating mix of thrill and curiosity. Noah backed her up. "We have to open it, right? It could be magical." Ethan hesitated, looking from the trunk to the shadows beyond. "What if it's dangerous? But what if it's the adventure we've been waiting for?" Clara pressed, her heart swelling with courage. With a shared glance that solidified their resolve, they gathered around the trunk. Clara took a deep breath, and together they placed their hands on the heavy lid. "On three," she suggested, her spirit unwavering. "1, 2, 3. They chanted, and together they heaved upward. The lid creaked and groaned as it slowly gave way. Clara felt the air rush in, carrying the scent of ancient wood, and something else, something magical. As the trunk opened fully, a burst of shimmering light exploded outward, illuminating their faces in a dazzling glow. All at once, the sounds of the park sprang back to life, laughter and music blending with the mysterious melody. "What in the world?" Noah gasped. Eyes wide, Clara stared in wonder. The trunk held colorful artifacts shimmering in the sunlight, objects that seemed to pulse with energy, waiting to be discovered. But as they leaned in closer, a shadow flicked behind them. Clara turned, heart pounding, as the figure she had glimpsed earlier stepped from the trees. It was a young girl, dressed in an outfit that looked like it belonged in a different time. "I'm so glad you found it," she said softly, but her eyes held a warning. "What did we just uncover?" Clara whispered, trepidation mixing with intrigue. And without realizing it, They had stepped into a story much bigger than any of them had dared to imagine. Clara stared at the young girl, her heart thudding as curiosity and trepidation intertwined. The girl's presence was ethereal, her voice a gentle whisper amidst the vibrant chaos surrounding them. "I'm Clara," she introduced, her eyes shimmering with secrets. "And you've uncovered the lost enchantment." "Lost enchantment?" Clara echoed, glancing toward her friends, who wore expressions ranging from awe to confusion. Clara nodded, stepping closer, the sunlight dancing around her. "This trunk holds the magic of dreams that can shape reality. But it also holds a guardian's duty, and you've been chosen." Noah's excitement bubbled over. "Chosen for what?" "To protect the magic," Clara replied, her voice rising with passion. "But it tests those who seek it. You need to decide if you're ready for the adventure or if you'll let it disappear forever." Clara felt the weight of her heart, the summer they built together flashing before her eyes. Memories and laughter intertwined with the uncertainty of tomorrow. Would facing this challenge pull them closer or tear them apart? With so many questions swirling, she inhaled deeply, feeling her courage bloom. "We want to protect it," she declared, her voice resolute. Ethan's eyes sparkled. Newfound confidence washed over him. "Yes, together, we can be the guardians. I want to be a part of this adventure," Noah exclaimed, his passion infectious. Clara exchanged determined glances with them. This was more than just a challenge. It was a journey, a chance to solidify their friendship into something extraordinary. Clara smiled, her expression softening. "Then you must answer a question. To keep the lost enchantment, you need to promise to share your dreams and support each other through all trials. Will you do it?" Clara nodded, feeling the sincerity in her heart. "Absolutely. We'll support each other, no matter where life takes us. Adventure Club forever," Noah added, raising his fist high, and Ethan joined, echoing the pact they had formed under the night sky. Clara's expression shifted, glimmering with approval. "Then let the journey begin." As they reached for the trunk, the vibrant artifacts began to swirl around them, illuminating their faces with the soft glow of hundreds of dreams. Clara felt it, a connection tying them together deeper than she had ever imagined. This was not just magic. This was their bond being woven into something greater. "Remember," Clara cautioned, her voice steady. "With every dream form, challenges come too. You must stand united." And just like that, her warning hung in the air, a gentle reminder of the unknown ahead. The three friends exchanged looks of determination and excitement. Clara reached into the trunk first, pulling out a shimmering crystal, their wildest hopes encased within it. The light felt warm, burning brighter with each promise they made. "What's our first adventure?" Clara asked, feeling the excitement bubble within her. "I want to visit the stars," Noah suggested, eyes wide with yearning. "Let us explore the unknown," Ethan replied passionately, his cheeks flushed with determination. Their declarations blended in the air as Clara watched, the passion reflecting in her eyes. "The first step begins now. Imagine where you want to go. Let the magic guide you." It was in that precise moment that Clara encouraged her friends to close their eyes and envision their grandest dreams. She pictured themselves reaching for the stars, laughing amidst the galaxies, creating memories beyond their wildest imaginations. Each thought ignited the magic within, sending pulses of pure energy through their hearts that a whirlwind of sparkles erupted, twinkling like diamonds. And suddenly, they found themselves standing on a soft, glowing cloud, surrounded by bright stars dancing in the night sky. "Look," Noah exclaimed, pointing towards a constellation forming a brilliant image of their Adventure Club logo. "It's our sign." Clara felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. They had stepped into an extraordinary realm, a place where imagination and dreams intertwined with the reality of their friendship. Each star glimmered brightly as they unleashed their laughter, their hearts tethered to this moment forever. As the glowing clouds began to swirl with color, Clara thought of the future and all the adventures lying ahead. They weren't alone. Their bond could conquer distance and change. They were now in control of their story, shaping magic through their dreams. The stars twinkled lovingly as Clara smiled. "Now you understand the true power of your hearts. Treasure the magic you create, and always remember it thrives in the strength of your friendship." Clara took a deep breath, filled with gratitude. They could embrace the journey, facing whatever came next with resilience, laughter, and love. And as their laughter echoed across the starlit sky, Clara knew in her heart that their stories would never fade. United as the Adventure Club, they were truly unstoppable in that magical moment. Under endless stars, Clara felt hope and promise intertwining with every heartbeat. They would not just be friends, they would always be family, anchored in the beauty of shared experiences and forever connected across time and space. Now it was time to forge ahead, to embrace the adventures that awaited together. Adventure Club forever remember, if you loved what you just witnessed, you need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive story. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread our message. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.